What's up, guys? It's your boy Jalen here on another episode on Elevated Minds. Got a good topic for you guys today, so I'm pretty excited. Before we go any further, if this is your first time on the channel, or if you're even returning to the channel and you like to see this type of content, go ahead and hit the like button, shoot me a follow, or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the topic. So today's topic is going to be don't be attached. And I know right away it's probably going to sound a little alarming to you guys, but I promise it's going to make sense in a little second. So, don't be attached. What I mean by that is when we get attached, we actually set ourselves up to be affected by suffering and pain. And what do I mean by that? We get attached to people, situations, things, objects, all types of stuff. And when you get attached to things, when things don't go our way or the thing is taken out of the equation or disappears or walks out of our lives, whatever it might be, this is when pain and suffering comes into play because of the resistance. We're resisting by trying to be attached to a thing that is outside of us. We are really the only thing that we should be attached to. We can't really be attached to these things because when we do that, everything else has, it might either come and go, or people sometimes come into your life for a season, maybe to teach you something, and they end up being your character development. And you end up hurt, and then they're on to the next, and we're still sitting here like, what's going on? Why don't they want me? And I use that as an example because it's like one of the best scenarios, because people tend to date. This can go for dating. When you're with someone and they might not be, they might not be for you anymore. But in the beginning, it was like nice. You get butterflies that make you feel good. You're having a great time, and then all of a sudden they start to switch up on you. And you don't want to be with them. They don't want to be with you anymore, and you're stuck sitting there like, what's going on? And instead of being able to accept the time that you guys had, you enjoyed them, maybe it was for a short period of time, don't be attached. You can't be attached to people and things. You can't even be attached to situations, because sometimes situations come and go. You can't, sometimes people come into rich lifestyles, and then they're so attached, and then some type of misfortune happens. Maybe a natural disaster comes and wipes out their house, and now they got to use all their money to get their house fixed up, or it could go on. The list can go on. But my point is, when we're attached to things, when the thing disappears or does its own thing, leaves our lives, this leaves us devastated and hurt and in a cycle of pain, and you suffer. And this is the resistance of the attachment. If you release the attachment, and then you're releasing the control, because the thing is, the universe and life and everything, it's gonna flow. You're gonna get hard balls thrown at you, curve balls thrown at you, and you have to be ready for it. You have to be ready for it, because it's gonna happen at some point in time. It's going to happen. And what we have to realize is the attachment is the only part of that will that will give you the pain. Because when we're attached to things, we tend to want things to go a certain way. We're attached to a scenario, like, oh, this is how this is going to go. We're dating someone. Oh, this person loves me, and this is what I need from them, and this is what I have to get from them, like this, like this, like this. And if I don't get it from them, and like this, and this, then I'm going to feel some type of way. Or I'm going to feel betrayed or hurt or whatever it might be. And so that's where detachment comes into play. You can't let these things get to you. You can't let these things get in the way of your happiness and your joy and your peace, because when we attach ourselves to things, we're going to be disappointed at some point. Especially if it's a person, you're going to be disappointed. And so even possessions, you should never be attached to houses or your car or your cell phone. Things can break, things can get stolen. At the end of the day, the most valuable thing is your life. And that's the thing, we should be attached to your own life. We can't control what anybody else does. We can't control what they think of us. We can't control how anyone perceives us. We can't control any type of disaster that's going to happen. We can't control any of that. The only thing we can control is how we react to any of these things that does happen to us in life. That's the only thing that we can control. And that's the only thing that we should focus on controlling. And so when you relinquish that need to attach and to be in control, that's when the pain and the suffering ends. Like, obviously, if something, if you're with somebody and they leave or whatever, you're going to feel the pain, you're going to feel hurt, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, when you're attached, it's different. It's different. It's a different type of pain. It's an ongoing pain because you can't let it go. You can't release it. You're so like, you had this whole scenario of how things are supposed to go, and it doesn't go your way, and then you're like, oh man, like, but maybe if I did it this way, and or maybe if I just did this and this, or maybe I needed to do more of this. See, you see that you're already going through the suffering and the pain in your head, and it doesn't even need to be that way. You know what? Feel what you got to feel. Obviously, it might sting that the person is gone, or lost this in a situation or whatever it might have been. But you got to move on. We have to be in a state of an abundance mindset. If something leaves your life, just already know that something better is coming along. Something bigger and better is going to replace the thing that has left your life. And you have to get in that state of mind that that's really the reality. Like, this is the truth. That's how we have to think about this. And that's literally the only way to kill that whole mindset of being attached to anything. And I'm going to use this as an example. I used to work at this job, and it was IHOP. Probably like 6 years ago. I don't remember how long ago it was now, but I worked at IHOP, and I despised this job. I got to be really, really, really good at it, but I despised this job. And I remember um, the boss. She would like really she loved me. She would just be like, yeah, you're doing such a great job. I want you to be a manager. I'm grooming you for this. Like, you're gonna take over the store. Blah 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 going on, and she made me feel really good, even though I couldn't stand. Like, I hated this job so much that I would like sit in my car 15 to 20 minutes before like my shift, and I would just be like, just gotta get through one more shift, Jalen. Just one more shift, Jalen. Just gotta get through one more shift. And it's the day ain't even started yet, and I'm already having a mental breakdown. Like, I used to break out in rashes all over my body. My face was breaking out. I wasn't sleeping. I was just always anxious, stressed out beyond measure. Like, I could not stand this job. But I stayed because I was good at it. The whole staff loved me. My boss loved me. And I was like, well, you know what? Why not? But eventually I got to a point where I'm like, I'm attached to this job. I'm attached to this feeling of being needed or wanted or whatever it might have been. And I was like, but it's not serving me. And a lot of times that's what we do. We attach ourselves to a feeling, or it could be a past version of yourself that doesn't serve you anymore. It feels comfortable. It might feel good, but it's not good for you. If anything that's stressing you out every day to the point where you're having a mental breakdown in your car every morning, you do not need to stay at that job. Get another job. There's plenty of them out there. I promise you, you don't have to stay there. And that's something I had to realize. I was just always in a state of mind where, if I'm good at a job, just be grateful that I'm at this job, and I have money coming in. But that's true. But if it's something that's attacking your mental health and well-being and stuff like that, and in my situation, it was even affecting my body and my physical. So it was affecting all of me, and so in a negative way. So I needed to get out of there, and I eventually did. And I found another job that was way better suited for me, and took me places that led me way farther forward than if I were to stay there and be a manager, probably making good money, but I would have been miserable out of my mind, all because if I was attached. But I detached. I was able to detach, and I learned I had to start detaching myself from jobs and people, relationships. When I catch myself, oh, you're loyal. I'm loyal to people that I've been in my life for a long time. But that doesn't always, just because they've been in your life all for a long time, doesn't mean that you should be attached to them. Sometimes people aren't good for you at all. You have to like realize, what do they bring to the table? How do they make you feel? Do you feel drained? Sometimes we're not supposed to be attached to people and anything, and we find ourselves doing that, and then it's hard for us to remove them or cut people off when we have to, or remove yourself from a job situation, or any whatever, anything that's causing you negativity or any type of resistance. A lot of times is due to attachment, and if we can't detach ourselves when we need to, we have to set that boundary. It's a problem. So that's all I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. I hope that I provided you guys with a little bit of value today. If so, once again, go ahead and hit that like button, shoot me a follow, subscribe, whatever you got to do, and we will see you guys the next time. So stay safe and stay elevated. Peace out, y'all.